It's Friday. How'd you like a little conspiracy with your happy hour? Well, let's get to it. There are these two doctors named Wolf and Chaikov. There's a great article I highly recommend reading, The Wolf-Chaikov Effect, Crying Wolf, ? These two doctors from UC Berkeley postulated that there was a reduction in thyroid when you ingested large amounts of iodine. This was never tested. This was never redone. This was never verified. Let me back up for a second. After World War II, iodine, which had been used as our primary medicine for eons, was starting to be replaced with antibiotics, which that's a whole other story. It's a whole other bag of worms. But they were being replaced and labeled as old-fashioned. And these two doctors came out in 1948 with this report. It was unverified, mind you, but they kept spreading it around. No one tested it. No one did anything. So in 1969, one of these doctors, they'd been postulating it over and over again. In 1969, one of these doctors moved over to the NIH, the National Institute of Health, and started taking their study and raising it up in the ranks and making it more popularized, so that for 3 generations of doctors, they have believed this nonsense. It's absolute nonsense, and it has been tested in the opposite way many, many, many times, and I'm going to cite sources for this so you can go check it out yourself. I alluded in our first video to what was also going on at the same time. When they took iodine out of our bread products, and by the way, they started putting iodine in the bread products because during the First World War, they were having to make the collars on the uniforms really big because of goiter. And so when people started taking iodine, the goiter started shrinking and the collar sizes got to go back to normal. And so everyone's like, oh, we need iodine. Yeah, we need iodine. So this doctor says, no, actually iodine is crashing the thyroids, which is just like every time I read this, I just want to like spit on something. Okay, so in 1969, every doctor now believes from here on forward, including today, they are being taught that iodine levels in excess crash the thyroid. So back to my other point, I'm sorry, it's Friday conspiracy, I can't keep my mind straight. When they started taking iodine out of the bread products because of this guy's study and putting in bromine, bromine, at the same time we were talking about it, became part of what was also being in these flame retardants that were everywhere, in your mattresses, in your furniture, in your skincare, everywhere. They're everywhere. So I'm going to just start talking about this, and we're going to talk about this in great detail next week, but I just want you to have a brief understanding. Inside our body, we have receptor sites. Iodine has receptor sites, and when we have iodine in those receptor sites, we have really great health. And this is a generalization, but I'm just kind of giving you big picture here. Now, what happens is that other things can fit receptor sites and kick out what should be there. Bromine, chlorine, fluoride. These 3 big players that are in everything. They're in our drinking water, they're in our showers, our baths, they're everywhere. They kick out iodine from receptor sites. So if you don't have enough iodine there that's acting as like a guard to defend from these invaders coming in and taking over their spots, then they just take over. And then we end up with, for the first time since 1970, we have the most, I'm sorry, I can't find where I wrote this down, highest elevation of both thyroid and breast cancers. You take out iodine and all of a sudden, thyroid and breast cancer start just screaming through the roof. Not okay, people. So anyway, that's what I wanted to leave you with today, that there are forces working against this, which is why vigilante medicine is so important. We need to educate ourselves so we can educate our practitioners, so we can educate our friends and family, so we make sure we're taking care of our health in the most profound way that gives us vitality and the ability to do everything that we want to do in life, not to mention eradicate diseases that shouldn't be there in the first place. So that's my rant for today, and I hope you have an amazing, amazing weekend. Good health to you.